Hello, I'm recording this on August the 27th. The time now, I believe, is about 4 o'clock. So, I want to share something with you that happened, what I awoke from 6 hours ago. I feel these numbers are perhaps significant and something I've just watched, which I shall mention at the end of this video, that actually, to me, makes sense of this dream. Now, rather frustratingly, a lot of the earlier part of the dream has sort of vaporized, but it's left the salient points and the very end of the dream. So if you can imagine something like a shopping mall, very sort of open plan with distinct areas, and there are two young lads, maybe in their late teens or early 20s, that figure earlier on in the dream, and I can't remember in what context, but they start to follow me. And I seem to recall I said, just watch this. So from where I can actually remember, I've moved to this sort of corner of this building, which is like an open plan branch of a bank. There's only two members of staff. It's like everybody else has gone home, and there's this one receptionist and a sort of middle-aged man who I feel is maybe a manager or something. And I remember saying to this receptionist, could you cut up these old bank cards or cash point cards for me? I know I could do it myself, but I'd appreciate if you did it for me. Then I've moved away from that, and I've gone more in to what you could say is like a what's the word I'm looking for? A sort of walkway, public walkway within this shopping centre. And these two young lads have reappeared, and one of them says something like, "Ha ha, you've lost. Have this." And I've got what I can only describe would be something like a 40-foot long boa constrictor sort of above my head, which I'm holding with my hands. And what's interesting about this dream is I actually get to see that in this dream I do have a physical body. But it's now sort of transitioned, so my arms are lower, but I can't see my hand or my wrist at all, and I can feel the sort of tightness of this coils of this snake's body. It's completely covered both hands, but I remember getting this voice from inside in this dream saying, "Feel no fear, do not emit fear," because I felt that that signal would be picked up by this boa constrictor and would end up with a very different reaction. We have a bit of play fighting by Junus and Charis on the chair next to me. So you may hear some strange noises. Anyway, to get back on point here, I don't know how it happened, but as it's as if I've started to walk back to this area of this sort of branch of this bank. It's all open plan, and there's no staff there at all now. And it's like, oh great, I'm on my own, because I had this idea. I was going to say, could you help me help untangle me? But I got no help from the bank. And I ended up doing it myself. Now, I'm now holding this boa constrictor by the throat, just behind its head, just purely with my right hand. It's got its mouth wide open with the fangs showing. It's more like it's just trying to emit a sound. And I'm not sort of feeling any violent or antagonistic feeling towards this. I've actually said to it, "Hello, beautiful. And then that's where the dream stopped. So I really don't know what comes next after that. But I thought that was very interesting. I could say that the walking back towards the sort of area that is like a branch of a bank is like a retrograde astral movement, and the various parts of this shopping mall, which is all open plan, represents the different houses or constellations. So what am I to do with this huge boa constrictor, or serpent we could call it, that I've now got by the throat? But I don't feel like I want to kill it or anything. I'm just holding it at this stage. Now I thought, what a strange dream, but the answer to that will no doubt filter through in some way, and sure enough, just prior to making this video, I've just watched the latest one from Dr. Dani called 3-Eye Atlas, which is said to be a comet that first appeared in Sagittarius. It's as if something has come into this cosmos from outside, or outside the construct. My first thoughts on this was 3-eye, well, the physical eyes and the mind's eye in unison. That it comes from Sagittarius, and it's heading towards Jupiter, and it's going towards Taurus. Looks like Sagittarius, being the archer, it's like an arrow, a lance that is going to hit a bullseye. But I also get from this, it's like some sort of reconnaissance, some sort of prelude object that's making an assessment of things, probably on the energetic level, as a foreshadowing of the return of the phoenix. Now, what is also interesting about this, bearing in mind that this object is going towards Jupiter, well, if we go back, not the 1902 Phoenix event year, but the previous one, 1764, that was the year that Mozart wrote his first symphony at the age of 8. And of his numbered symphonies, his last one, number 41, is known as Jupiter. Call it coincidence? I don't know. So what I'm going to set you a little task here, and just put a reply in the comments. From what I've told you, from what I can remember about this dream, how would you interpret that as to what that means? I'd love to hear your take on it. I know what it means to me, but it would be interesting to get your perspective on this as well. Because to have an all-round picture requires to look at things from all different angles. Why can't I then go external of myself and get an external perspective from individuals and see if any more sense can be made of this dream? What I feel is being shown is the serpent, or the boa constrictor, the open plan bank, the shopping centre, are just purely the mundane metaphors that is actually expressing a far more profound message. I just happened to notice 919 on the time duration of this video. So I'm going to end that there. And yeah, do please let me know what you think in the comments. I'll put the link to the Dr. Dani video on the 3-Eye Atlas. That is worth looking at. Forget about this dream and the interpretation, but just watch that video. I feel it may make sense to you, especially if you've been getting unusual feelings about this sort of time maybe unexplained feelings. You can't put your finger on why you feel a particular way on a particular day of late. I feel this all ties into this. Certainly for myself, yesterday it was a day of, that I would say I call a flat day, where nothing eventful happened at all, and I felt grumpy, but I couldn't pinpoint why was I feeling grumpy. So I put it down to some sort of astral influence, and it's like, well, I can sit with this discomfort because I know it will pass. So it may well be connected with picking up on something with this transit of this 3-eye atlas. And to me now this sort of all makes sense of this dream as well. But sharing is caring, so I thought I'd share the dream as much as open this up to, what are your thoughts on, if you were to have a dream like that, how would you interpret it? What does it say to you? What does it tell you about yourself? I know how I feel and what I take from it, but it's a bit like doing a reverse tarot. I'm going outside of myself to get different opinions, different ideas that I feel will only sort of enhance understanding and the understanding of the meaning of the dream. I feel it is very profound anyway. I don't recall ever having a dream quite like that before. Not that I often recall dreams and things, but right, we've got up to 12 minutes, so this went on a little bit longer than intended, but as always, unconditional love to you all.